What's up, all? I haven't been able to vlog in a while because I've been in a place that had no internet. So this is something that just happened that I want to talk about because I'm still in town. Um, it's a vlog I'm entitling Revisiting Racism. Now, I want to say I was in the military. I served with a lot of black people. There's a lot of black people I love to this day. This does not apply to most black people. And the type of racism I'm talking about is like understanding biological evolution, that my people and we had a development that involves the respect of others, and that there's people in society acting like your friends who didn't do that. Maybe like a good example would be P. Diddy beating women, you know, um, and I encountered that today. Now, this is not reflective on the whole race itself. There were people there that were totally kind and respectful. But today at the gym, there was this guy, and he looked like his face looked stonier and blockier than normal. Real, like, savage, right? And he had the shower reserved for him, right? The shower was on, the door was open, and he wasn't letting anyone use it. He was going to use it, but he was like doing his hair. He had dreadlocks, so he was like wrapping his hair up, and he's like, I'm going to use it. And I'm like, you can wrap your hair first and use the shower later, right? You can get ready to go. There's nothing like, imagine I were to go and turn the shower on and put my stuff there and then go to the locker to get ready, right? It's like, no, you don't do that. You use the shower when you use it, otherwise you have to, like, but he didn't get that. So this person was like, he said he was warming up the water, which it warms up instantly. It takes like 2 seconds. And just like, it just bothered me. I know it's like he might be weird, but to me, he looked like he came from some like primordial Africa. He wasn't like my friends or like cultured people. It's like he came from a place where you had to fight over resources, right? And so just the audacity, number one, of wasting water is that Arizona's in a drought and he's got the water on and he's not even in it. He had that shit on for many minutes. I got there and it was already on, right? I got there and this was already an ongoing situation. Everyone else apparently knew what this guy was doing. And, like, no one of my people would waste water that way, including like the Africans I served with. None of them would do that, but this guy was from someplace else. So yeah, I'm not a hard racist. Like, some racists want to like erase other races, or they think, they're like want to obliterate them. And I'm not that way at all. But I do respect that if you haven't evolved in this culture, it's going to be weird for you. Anyway, that wasn't the only weird thing he did. When he finally got into the shower, he was showering with the curtain open so he could stare at his stuff, which is an interesting karma. And he had way too much stuff. Like, for the gym, he had like just a pile of stuff. And it's like, you don't need that much, dude. What are you doing? And he didn't want to leave it. So he just like stared at it with the shower door open. And I'm just like, what an absolute animal. You claim a shower you're not using, leave the water on, don't let anyone else have it so you can wrap your dreads up so it doesn't ruin your dreads. And there were other black people there that were not doing anything weird. They were just totally fine, normal people. But this dude, like, his face looked different, right? He looked like he was like a fucking savage. And I'm like, he just doesn't know. Like, you don't do that here. You don't waste water, first off. If you're not using the shower, you turn it off, right? You don't just like turn it on. And you don't take the shower from others when you're not ready to use it yet. Like, he had only gotten in the shower at the very end of my full clean. I was opening the door as he was closing the door, right? And he didn't even do that. So, and it's kind of an interesting karma that if you're greedy like that, you take a shower from others and you waste water, then you can't close the door all the way because you got to watch your stuff. You can't trust your stuff with others because you think they think like you do, right? He probably thinks everyone's like him. He would just nick your stuff, probably. you know, and I'm not making a gross generalization on a whole people, but I am saying that it's like clearly he came from someplace else. Clearly he had a different moral philosophy, you know. Yeah, I just couldn't believe the audacity of that. And please, if you're a woman, don't date these people. Don't give them kids. I mean, like if they're an awesome person, hey, by all means, enjoy yourself. But um, yeah, just because he's like a greedy, take it all for himself savage doesn't mean he's alpha. It doesn't mean he's like a good leader. Doesn't mean he's a good man. It means he's like a fucking animal, you know? So, yeah. I definitely kind of like the idea of just deporting criminals. Like, you know who he reminded me of? He reminded me of that dude who was fighting police with a knife. He has 40 prior convictions. And 40. He has 40 prior convictions for felonies and misdemeanors. And people are defending him like, oh, it was a huge rights issue. A cop got stabbed. Yo, you know, do you want to live through the police? Don't stab them. When a police officer gives you an order, you do it, right? If they make a mistake, you can sue them later. But this idea that you have the right to physically resist the police is not true. You don't. You don't have the right to physically fight the police. You have the right to sue them if they misuse you, right? But you don't have the right to like fight. So yeah, some people are different, man. Some people are cultured. Some people are amazing people. They'll never ever be in that guy's shoes, you know. And other people are like, you're not being oppressed because you got shot for stabbing the police, you know. I would get shot if I stabbed the police. You kidding me? You know. And likewise, you know, the shower isn't yours. You don't get to go into the gym and then just like claim a shower, leave the water on, and do your hair before getting in. You should just leave the shower, do your hair first, and then wait in line, right? Because it wasn't long. After, like, I waited for a few minutes just standing there with this open shower because people were like, you know, he's weird, you know, and then suddenly one opened and I was able to get in there. But yeah, the shit annoys me. So yeah, I don't tolerate like blatantly hating people for how they look, but clearly some people didn't get those evolutionary lessons. You know, they do just take things selfishly without thinking of others, and to them that's normal, right? So I'm for calling that in the white society as well. You know, anyone who's like that in white culture, also like remove them. But man, yeah, would love to see that guy deported. Yeah, you freaking turn on a shower, claim it, leave the water running, don't let anyone else use it while you do your dreads. And then you have to shower with the freaking door open because you want to watch your stuff because you're afraid of someone stealing it. Like, hope I never see him again, you know? Just like, so awful. Yeah, some people didn't get those lessons. They don't have it in their DNA. You know, I have it in my DNA. Don't waste water. Be respectful of others. You don't have to tell me that. I'm going to do that, right? And some people don't have those lessons. And honestly, you have to put them in a box or get rid of them. You can't let people who are selfish like that, you know, because if they want something, they're just going to steal it, right? And so that's the thing, is that it's like, this is like the positive side of racism, right? Is that you're not letting people mingle who aren't the same, right? Is that there's a way that we have, and if you take people from a different way, like a barbarian raider society, and put them in our society, it's going to victimize us, and they're going to call us haters when we rebel. But that's what's really happening, is that like the Somali daycare, you don't claim to be a daycare to take millions of dollars from the government. How dare you? But to them, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, well, I'm living my best life, which is like a level of selfishness I hate in white culture too. Like, you shouldn't be selfish like that, you know? Yeah, due to my injuries that I received in service, I'm entitled to Social Security disability, but I don't claim it. I haven't gone and done that because I don't need it. You know, I could, I could get an extra $2,000 to $4,000 a month, you know, and I don't do that at all because I don't need it. You know, I have enough. I don't need to take more. I know that stuff is stressed, you know. And that's like, but not everyone thinks that way. Some people go, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know people who like tried to claim, you know, at home, they need at home care, right? I know people who tried to claim they're so disabled they need at home care, right? Just to get the extra, like, you know, it's like $1 million every 10 years, which is like super illegal fraud. You're not supposed to do that. So, yeah. I'm so I'll have you on basic income. I want to trade privacy for basic income. AI watches everything you do. You get some basic income, right? Totally agree with that. You know, I see the fraudster and I go, you could have gotten a job, but you know, instead you lied to abuse systems, which is like really bad. But yeah, no, I'm bothered by it. Like, it is. There's been an uptick in racism, and it comes from, number one, the behavior of the Jews. What Israel did was like shocking, and a lot of people are like, "Holy crap!" Um, and the other one is just like the freaking, you know, Somali fraud and other stuff, and then how people respond to ICE. Y'all are acting like these are terrible people. They're just throwing out criminals, man. I know a lot of black people who haven't been touched. I know a lot of Mexican people who haven't been touched. I got Mexican people in my family. They haven't been touched. They haven't been deported. You know, what are you talking about? You're defending criminals because you have a story in your head, you know, which pisses me off. So, yeah, I don't endorse abusing anyone who doesn't deserve it, but like today, shower guy, man, what are you doing? You're not using it. You just left the water on. There's other people who want to shower and they can't because you've reserved one for yourself. And I'm like, what an absolute ego. Please, please don't find these people hot. Please don't give them any kids. Please, like, let's wait till they do something criminal, and they will, and just throw them in fucking jail. I mean it, because they're just like, not obviously, not everyone's that way, you know. Obviously, there's a lot of people who understand, don't waste water, be considerate of others. There's a lot of people who get that, you know, and I don't have a problem with them. But some people, man, they're just, they come from they have a different culture. They have a different culture. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't think anything I've said is wrong. You know, I think everything I've said is like appropriate, right? And it makes sense with biological evolution, is that within a population over time, they become a way, they learn lessons, right? How to be not obedient, but like how to be a good person. And there's other cultures that are like raiders. They don't get those lessons. They go, if I want it, I'll take it, right? And you can't mix the two because you're going to victimize the good people. You have to like, you actually have to use discretion and profiling based on who are you and where are you from. Well, we know those people. We don't like them. You know, they're jerks. Not everyone who's their color is that way. Totally understandable. Make an exception for them. But some people just, they're just built different. They can't, right? It's like, can you not steal? Can you leave things for others? They can't do that, right? They don't think that way. It's not in their fucking DNA. So, yeah. It's like how you deal with an invasive species. They do that all the time. When there's an invasive species in nature, it's overly aggressive, breeds too much, and kills native species. They freaking exterminate it, you know? They start a war. So that's exactly where we're going right now, is that there's going to be a war and there's going to be a fight to remove our enemies, you know, to remove people that hurt us, right? There's a water shortage in Arizona. The hell you doing wasting water? What an absolutely horrible person. This is an absolute jerk. I'm sure if I knew his personal history, it'd be nothing but like shameful events, extreme greed. So yeah, that's the vlog for today. I definitely don't. I know a lot of people who look all sorts of ways, and I have a lot of love for a lot of them. But this dude reminded me why we don't trust others, you know. Why if they are dramatically different than you, then they can't get along with you. You can't just trust somebody like that in society. You can't. They're gonna rape. Europe's going through that right now. They let all these foreigners in, and now all these girls are getting raped, and they're having like these inside insurrections and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you actually have to be racist. And it all started from the fucking Jews, because after World War II, we took the lesson. It's like, wow, you know, those poor Jews were victimized for their culture. They suffered a racist attack, and they forgot that they circumcise and plot against others and abuse their hosts, right? It's like a parasite. And so everybody learned the lesson, oh, poor Jews. And then what happened is they opened their doors to all these other races. And some of that was good. Some of that was good. Some of that was destructive. It ruined relationships. It ruined sex. It ruined material wealth. You know, it's very, very, very bad. I'm not all the way on the level of like, yes, enslave them. But I'm definitely on the level of like, you shouldn't let foreign species into your land, especially if they're like aggressive and invasive. You have to basically take some lessons from biology and be like, this is an invader, right? And I feel no hypocrisy with like what happened with the natives, because it's like, sorry, man. That's how it works. Shit's rough sometimes. But yeah, that's my story today. Absolute asshole hogging the fucking shower that he wasn't using so he could do his dreads, and just like leaving the water on while not in use, which is just so offensive to me. It's so offensive to me. And there were other black people there who were not doing that. They were absolutely cool, very respectful. And this dude looked different. Like in his face was like blocky in a way I've never seen before. Maybe it's growth, you know. Maybe he's using fucking steroids or something, or he's just a savage like that. You know, I don't think it's masculine or alpha to waste water and hog a shower. I don't. So, yeah, I don't promote unsolicited attacks on people who look different, but I do promote, be wary that not everyone gets along with you, right? Not everyone understands your way. Some people are taking it like they're claiming territory on the fucking savannah, you know. Some people, that shower was his, right? Nobody touches it, right? And it's like, wow, what an absolute, I can't wait to hear news. Oh, he went to jail. And if you're a judge, you better freaking protect us from those people. Someone commits felonies, he beats women, he steals. You have my permission to throw him in jail, please. Like, there's no reason you should be letting him out. He's not going to change, you know, he's just going to become like identified with that. So anytime he gets hungry for some free food, he's going to start acting even worse. It kind of sucks. Like, become a criminal to get some free food. Well, so you're going to become a criminal to acquire, and the very worst is they're going to feed you and give you a place to live. That's like too appealing. So yeah, it sucks. Not everyone deserves that criticism or that judgment, but some people do. Some people do. And I've never seen that behavior from a white person ever, or an Asian or anything like that, you know, but some people come from the wilds, right? They're savages, and they just don't get that shit. They don't get that shit. No, you can't take it all for yourself, you know. And there'd be a good criticism that like white collar people like Donald Trump do the same thing. They just dress it up. It's more sophisticated, right? And I totally agree with that. That's a type of like social crime that should be addressed as well. But yeah. It is very true. If someone didn't evolve through your culture and they come from a different culture, man, they're gonna rub each other the wrong way. That's happening in Europe, and that's happening here. You can't just let anyone in because you want to be friendly. You have to like really reflect on it. So anyway, outrageous behavior pissed me the fuck off. I almost complained to the managers about it, but The only reason I didn't is there were other people that looked like him, so I couldn't be like, if he was the only African there, I would have been like, that dude was doing this, but he wasn't, so I didn't want to like accidentally get someone else in trouble. Yeah. Anyway, that's the vlog.